Steve. Okay, then, there we go. All right, so this is the June 23rd meeting of the Groton Inland Wetland Agency. Dave Scott's the chair, staff tonight, Deb Jones and Bruce Lofgren. There is the opportunity to address the commission if you want to do so on a matter that's not necessarily on the agenda. You'll have to raise your hand in order to do that. On an Apple device, you can find it by hovering at the top of your screen. On a PC, it's at the bottom. If you're on the phone, it is *9.
All right. Public communications, Aquarian water correspondence.
Just
That's
to
the
note,
water I was talking about.
yeah. The note that you got it.
All right. Any other public communication?
I don't think so. I mean, I see some hand raised, but I know that these are folks that are on the agenda, so I'll promote them as their agenda item.
Yep. All right. Approval of minutes of June 9th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th.
Second.
All right. Discussion? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right. And special meeting June 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting on June 11th.
Second.
All right. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right. We have no new applications. So that brings us down to Russell Street.
Okay, it looks like, yes, the applicant Brad Warner's here. I'm gonna promote him. And I'll share my screen and show the plan.
Is he with us?
Yeah, it looks like he's just muted. That was it. Yeah, Brad, are you there? Maybe I'll ask him to. Oh, there he is. Okay.
How about now? No?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling up the plan here.
Oh,
All
there
right.
it is.
Yeah, can everyone see the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Brad, do you want to, this is the second, so just so everyone knows, this is the second time you are seeing this. This is a new single-family development on Russell Street in Mystic side of town. We did a site walk here last week or the week before, actually, and this is the second time you're seeing it, and nothing's changed, but I'll let the applicant just kind of go over what he's proposing again, and yeah. All right, Brad, you want to just discuss the plan and the proposal?
Yeah, I guess you guys had walked it and we're hoping that we could put either some kind of fence or living fence along the edge of where the silt fence would be. Is that where you guys are thinking? Because I'm fine with that. That sounds good. I can do that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Normally, we sort of wait for you to make a little presentation and then we blab.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess nothing's really changed on my part, except that I'm hoping that you guys will be okay with the patio on the back. Otherwise, the house is pretty much right on the grade that it shows. Maybe, yeah, the garage, if you're facing it, the garage, on 2-car garage on the left, kitchen, living room, on the bottom, bedrooms upstairs, no decks, nothing unusual. And that's it. Hook up the water and the sewer. And that's it. I don't think there's nothing, I haven't changed anything. So if you had any questions,
Can
let
you
me know.
remind a first floor deck or a second floor deck?
No decks at all, just a first floor patio on grade, like a 8-inch drop out of the kitchen living room, kind of.
Okay.
No decks upstairs, just in the front, maybe like a concrete 1 step down. And that's it.
And the lot is all grass, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm glad that we walked this. It was really an eye opener. So I'm comfortable with your plan as
Okay.
is presented, including the patio. I have 2 stipulations that I would like to see. Obviously, I'm just one vote, but I like your idea of living fence or fence. And what I'm going to say is along that grass to tree shrub interface, you can obviously on the plan, you can see that it starts sloping off pretty dramatically.
Mm,
Whatever other agency members are most comfortable with in terms of a fence, I would like to support that. But the second thing, and this is going to be related to an application later on tonight, but I also would like to start putting in, and this is not the right wording, you guys, and I know you'll help me with this, but don't want any material to be dumped over the edge. In other words, where the fence is, where the living fence will be. What I'm noticing is that people, before they put that up, are dumping a bunch of what they consider to be, I don't know, stuff they don't want, debris, whatever. I don't want there to be any dumping over that edge, that steep edge into the wetland. So if we could have some wording about that, I would be so grateful. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Eunice.
I agree with you, Eunice. The only problem with that is it's impossible to control unless the fence is so tight that you can't get anything over it.
But at least we could control it. I guess what I'm gonna, and again, we'll talk about this in a future conversation this evening, but at least during construction, you know, they tend to sort of
Throw stuff over, yeah.
push stuff, you know, oh, if this tree comes down, they just push it. I really like to see that that demarcation, because I think we're being very kind and generous to you know, let this go the way it is. And so I just would like to see
Yeah.
that.
The other thing, I think there's some advantage to putting that in as a condition, at least written. You know, it may be difficult to enforce, but at least it's in the conditions under which we approved.
Thanks, Barbara.
It'll be easier to enforce on the builders than
Yep.
on homeowners later.
Yeah.
Ruth.
You know, I think we can successfully enforce that on the builders.
Then maybe we do want to put some sort of really like real fence there so they can't dump over the top of it. So maybe we want to say it needs to be 6 foot tall or something. I don't know. Staff, you have any sage suggestions?
I did put together a draft motion for this application, and I did include a condition that, that would put a fence or the way I worded it was a fence or, another similar type, barrier that would go along the edge of Woodline right here, which is the top of the slope where we were standing the other day.
Yep.
And I just suggested fence or other barrier to kind of, because I didn't know exactly what the agency would like. So feel free to edit that condition. The other condition I did put in was that there be no more dumping or depositing of materials or anything below the edge of wood line right here. So essentially, this would be the limit of disturbance line. It would be fenced off, no clearing, cutting on this side of the wetland side of it, and also no dumping or depositing of any materials.
Bruce, you read my mind. Yay!
They
Right.
probably need to put the fence in before they start construction.
So I have a quick question. Is the fence for, like Bruce had mentioned, I could possibly do a, like if I happen to hit big boulders in there, can I do a boulder line along the edge as I'm digging that foundation?
Boulder line is a lot easier to throw stuff over than a fence.
So
We also have
it's true.
steepness of that slope too, in terms of, again, it's not under our jurisdiction, we know, but
Yeah.
I mean, I would feel nervous if I had like
Children,
children.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd be nervous too. That's a mighty steep bank and some young kid could take a tumble down that bank easily.
So normally I'm all over boulders and we certainly use those quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm thinking in this sense, in this case, I'm not sure that would be the best thing right here.
Yeah, I'm thinking of fence.
Yep.
So I just go on. Sorry.
Brad, is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine. I just, when you guys went for your walk, I'm hoping that you did notice that at the bottom of that steep cliff, there is a bunch of boulders and debris and stuff already there that
Okay.
I was
Right.
hoping that,
Well, this lot was filled in years ago and that's
Oh,
what,
sure. yeah,
you know, that's where all that stuff came from.
Yeah, and that's the point of this, Brad, is that's the whole idea. That's it. That's enough. No more. No more over the edge.
right. So I just don't want you guys to come back later and start and point out a bunch of boulders and think that maybe I had done that. That's all. That's what I was getting at.
Oh, we saw that and we were
Okay.
aware that this was filled.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, I can do the fence. That's fine.
And also
I
tell
guess-
your construction crew that they're not to throw anything over that.
Yeah, that's fine. Is it possible? I'm just a little concerned about putting up a fence and then, swinging excavators around, and I don't want to damage it. Can I possibly do it after maybe after the foundation is in and then do the fence?
That's fine with me, but be
Okay.
clear that Bruce is going to be out there and he is going to be watchdogging you.
And he's mean too.
He is
Yeah.
mean.
Out
Watch
there
out.
every day.
And I'll go out there and have a look and I'm a lot meaner.
Woohoo!
I might have to put a fence on the front.
I got my bolt cutters.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a motion to approve this.
Did we get a draft motion here that you want us to look at, Bruce, please?
Yes, I did. I emailed it earlier, but if you don't have it, I can share it here.
I wasn't inside all day, sorry.
While Bruce is getting that up, Dave, do you want to appoint Annie as a voting? She's here now?
Yes. Who would? Annie's here?
He is,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint you to vote tonight. I'm gonna edit this and take out other appropriate barrier. I took out or other appropriate barrier since we decided on a fence.
Perfect.
You may want to specify the height too. If I was thinking about that, but when I drafted this as well, if you want a 6-foot tall fence, I mean, that's
True, they could put a 2-foot fence in there. What's typical for a chain link?
I think 6
Uh,
foot,
4
yeah,
feet?
towards 6 feet. Yeah, 6 feet average.
6 feet?
Yep.
All right, we can put that in there.
somebody's playing with this screen big time here. What is happening? All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Warner Colonial application. Permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions and the following modification. Uh-oh, I can't, there we go. No clearing, cutting, alteration, or dumping of materials shall occur on the wetland side of the existing edge of lawn. I think that's pretty exact enough. And
Yep.
number, that a 6-foot high fence shall be constructed along the eastern side of the existing edge of the lawn line depicted on the site plan. A revised set of plans showing the barrier shall be submitted to the Office of Planning and Development Service for final review and filing prior to the issuance of the inland wetlands permit.
Second.
I have a quick question. If I were to do, instead of a chain link fence, if I were to do a stockade,
That's fine.
could it be 4 feet instead of 6 so people could still like look into the woods? Because if it's 6 feet, they won't be able to see in the woods, like sitting, from their yard. Or is that?
Well, the problem with 4 feet, it invites stuff being thrown over.
Really does. I mean, that's the problem. They're
But
gonna have to look up.
Like for the construction part of it, I understand, but eventually when somebody lives there, you're not going to be able to stop them from cutting a gate or doing what they're throwing their lawn clippings. They're going to do it anyway. I think personally, but like I'm not going to throw anything. I'm just thinking like, so they can have views of that nice woods. If I put a 6-foot fence up, they're not gonna be able to see anything except a fence.
Well, they will from the house.
They will from the second floor of the house, probably, right?
Yep, yep.
And maybe that's why they would want a chain link, because they'd be able to see through it.
That's true. I just don't
Chain
like.
link's kind of ugly, I know.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's all.
But why don't we could compromise and make it 5 feet.
Or get that green kind of chain link. That's kind of pretty.
So we're not compromising with 5 feet.
Is that all right, Eunice? Is that all right? You all right with that?
I'll compromise at 5 feet.
All right. All right.
So then my motion to say that a 5-foot fence.
All right, we have a second.
Sounds reasonable. Thank you.
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstentions? All right. You're done.
All right. I like being done.
Great, thanks, Brad.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Same to you.
Eunice, give me a heart attack here.
Why?
You moved your screen, everything went, whoa.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Winding Hollow Road.
Yeah, let me just promote the applicant here. Here we go. All right, so I think as you recall, this is a 4-lot subdivision that was approved a number of years ago. Foundations were installed. However, the structures have not been built and the driveways and parking lots are also not in place, as well as some of the drainage. So the permit expired and the property has changed hands. Eric Toby is here. He is going to be building out the subdivision and has applied for a wetland permit that is identical to the one that was approved originally. And if you like, I can just pull that up. She said thinking she could. And
That's quite a subdivision.
yeah, yep. Hang on a minute, that's not it. I thought I had it up. Okay, all right. And there we go. So this is the subdivision off of Winding Hollow Road. It's a duplex subdivision, so each of the lot has 2 units. As I said, these foundations are already in. The driveway to the southern lot down here is not in, nor are those foundations, but that'll be done as part of this permit. Eric, if you've got anything else you want to add, please feel free to.
Yeah, so like I said before, everything will be done, you know, to the original approved subdivision. Also added with the conversation you had on the last matter, there was some concern about that up there with me too, as far as like debris and stuff going over the edges. There was a lot of stuff that was dumped and like the fill that was brought in there. So what we did is we've been cleaning it up. And I see in the original subdivision, there was nothing there for a fence, and where they filled in behind the 4 box, there's like a 40-foot drop. And I don't think that's safe, you know, if we were to market these things and sell to a family without any type of fence there along the edge where they had filled in. So other than that, I mean, if you guys are good, I'm good. And I'm looking forward to getting this done.
So on lot 4, all of the work is 100 feet away from the flagged wetland. So you're talking about just putting a fence along the edge of that line right behind the units.
Yeah, and like, you know, where when you first come in, before you get to the 4th lot where the wetlands are, the big box that's there, that they first poured, just where they filled in all along the property there. I mean, it's a massive drop. It's probably 40 feet or better. And
Yeah, originally this lot was filled in before they had gotten a permit. So all of the area that you can see here that is to be developed was filled, and there is a slope that goes down that is pretty steep behind you.
yeah, and been around where the lot's going in the back. It's a good, I would say 15 to 20 feet or better in areas. So I would like to just make sure that's fair and safe if people were to come there. But other than that, everything to the original approved subdivision.
Last meeting, the agency also wanted to see the original drainage calculations. So those were included in your packet. As you can see that there's no more than 1 cubic foot per second increase, including up to a 100-year storm. So it's pretty minimal additional drainage here.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the fence, as long as you keep it at the limit of construction there.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, you certainly don't want to have a drop off like that if you have families in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so I did send along a draft motion for you. So let me just pull that up.
Yeah, I have it right here with me too.
Here it is. So if you all are comfortable with the fence, we can add that to the regulated activity, the construction of a fence along the edge of disturbance. And I think you can see I'm not suggesting any additional modifications or conditions with this. The original permit did have a number of conditions, but they related to the sediment and erosion control plan and adding additional information to that. That was actually done and is on the approved plan that is in land records, and that's the one that was submitted as part of this application. So they met all the conditions that were originally approved.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve the Winding Hollow. The permit subject to the 5 standard conditions with the additional condition that fence shall be constructed
Along the edge of disturbance.
along the edge of disturbance.
Very good.
all right. We have a second?
Second,
All right. Questions? All
I'm
those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
All right, very good.
All right. I thank all of you. Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
And good night.
You too.
All right. 798 Groton Long Point Road is not ready.
The applicants are here though, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if they wanted to present their old plan, get some feedback. I did notice they're here if you want to take some, but I did just receive the plan this afternoon, so I didn't get to look at it.
Do we know the status of the cleanup there?
I was out there last week. Yes, the wood chips have been removed from,
I mean, if they have something additional to add before the new plan comes out, I'd be willing to hear it.
okay, I'll promote them and see if that's okay with you.
Good evening. My name is Greg Fettis with Fettis Engineering, representing the applicant Donna Ralston. Yeah, we just received the comments, I guess, on Friday. We were hoping to get them in pretty quickly, but were fairly extensive. So we did get them in today. We did, I think, the 2 things that we talked about last time. The 35 feet we respected with the wall. The retaining wall is just a little bit different than what was originally proposed, which was the boulders. It's about a foot higher, 3 foot instead of 2 foot. I think the minimum before was a 2 foot boulder wall. So we're just gonna be a consistent 3 feet tall. And we did remove the fence that we had proposed that went through the wetlands. We were probably dreaming when we put that on there, so we removed that and respected your concerns regarding that. As Bruce stated, we did remove the wetlands or the wood chips in the wetlands. The silt fence is up. I've been out there a couple times. So as soon as Bruce finishes up his review, we'll make any last minute changes. We can come maybe next meeting and hopefully get a positive response. I could show you the plan as we revised it, if that's appropriate. If not, we'll wait till next time.
We'll wait till next time. We'll need to look at it more carefully and
Okay, we did do a planting. We did do a planting plan also. So we added, I think, 5 or so holly trees and some apple trees and some shrubs and then some wildflowers in the area we disturbed. So we'll wait till Bruce does his review and we'll see you next meeting.
On the 14th. Yep,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, North Stonington Fire Lane.
Right. So the town engineer is not here tonight. He thought he had answered most of your questions and I agreed. So I can put that plan back up for you. There we go. As you may recall, this is a dry fire line across Whitford Brook on North Stonington Road. Let me just zoom in here. Yikes. So this is excuse me, this is Whitford Brook. This is Groton. This is Stonington. And the idea is to put this dry line over the brook and to connect water to it if indeed there is a fire on the Groton side. I think you all were comfortable with the plan, and I did send out a draft motion.
They did agree to drill.
Yep, they did agree to drill.
Okay,
That will be in the specs.
all right. Do you want to put up the motion, the
I will. Yep.
draft motion? There we
There you
go.
go.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion with the North Stonington Fire Line Assembly for installation of a dry fire line and support structure within the upland review area and over Whitford Brook. This permit is subject to the 4 standard conditions. Do we need to say anything about the drilling, Dave, or is that just sort of in it now?
No, that's probably fine there.
Okay.
Do we have a
Second.
second?
Was that Barbara?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Yeah, it's a shame they haven't built the bridge, but they may never.
Yeah, and this will provide fire protection.
I talked to my son-in-law who used to be on the council about it, and he informed me about the machinations that have gone on over the years about it, so
Yep.
I'm not hopeful it'll ever be built. All right. Avery Memorial.
Yep, Cindy Fortner is here. She is the chair of the beautification committee. There we go. All right, Cindy, you can unmute.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Cindy.
I came before you back in March to talk about the little area that's adjacent to the Avery Memorial in Groton. And I sent Deb a little note. It basically said that, so back in March, we had talked, I had asked if I could plant some hosta in front of the stone wall. And you said yes, because that's outside of the stone wall and that would be fine. So we went over there to look at it, and I have 2 problems. The biggest one being that stone wall is covered with poison ivy. And the second one being that there is a tremendous amount of, the soil is tremendously compressed. This is once again along Route 1, is it Route 1 or Route 12? Right before Pequannock Bridge, Pequannock Road, I'm sorry.
Route 1, it's Route 1.
Route 1, okay. So there is a set of stairs there that leads up and over the little wall that goes into this piece of property that's owned by the town of Groton. Anyways, so my request was I would like to try to remove that poison ivy. But before we talk about that. I was hoping I could tell you a tiny bit about who I am, just because you guys, I'm going to ask you to something, and I don't know if you're going to want to do it. And I thought maybe you might want to know a little bit more about me, so you know that I'm not a bad person. But very briefly, I just want to let you know that I'm a member of the RTM, member of the Trillium Garden Club. I'm a Connecticut Master Gardener, which I received in 1994. My home abuts the wetlands here in Mystic, which we built here in Mystic 18 years ago. At that time, I met Deb Jones, who was delightful, and then met her again when I was removing some Phragmites from my wetland property to replace it with native viburnum and clethra, and realized I needed to talk to you guys first, which I did not do, and I apologize for that, although I apologized to Deb many years ago. So now I understand the rules. My husband and I use minimal chemicals on our property. We love animals, we love creatures, just built a salamander stream in my yard. My husband is a retired veterinarian. Our goal is to maintain the Avery Memorial. We're calling it a parklet as an attractive focal point to the downtown Groton area. This came to our attention originally just because of I'm the chair of the Groton Beautification Committee, and that's a central piece of property. And although we decided, obviously, we don't want to disturb anything there, it certainly would be nice for it to be attractive focal point, or not. So anyways, so my mission is to loosen the soil on either side of the steps. So the steps go into the little parklet. There's a maple tree on either side about 20 feet away. Believe it or not, somebody's planted there's a blueberry bush on either side of the steps, and actually has blueberries on it. Unfortunately, the steps now have poison ivy coming up right through the middle. So we would like to be able to loosen that soil. We also would like to kill the poison ivy, and we would like to plant some azaleas in front of that brick wall, and next to the blueberries, and also maybe some hosta, which would be planted kind of as an understory. The part I need your, I would like to actually use some ortho brush be gone. And I know that is something that we would not normally put on in a wetlands area, but it's right against the fence. I mean, the stone wall. I cannot get anywhere near poison ivy. My husband is willing. He would like to help me, and he would be willing to move it, either pull it kind of away from the wall and so he could spray it, or kind of pull it over the wall so you're getting just the poison ivy plant and the wall. When we used to live in Gales Ferry, we had a property that was teeming with poison ivy in our wooded area, and it took, over the course of 3 years, he removed the bullbriars, the poison ivy, and did not hurt any other plants in our own personal property. The University of California IPM website lists triclopyr, which is the active ingredient of ortho brush be gone, as low toxicity to animals, including bees and birds. There's a half-life of about 30 to 90 days in the soil, which can be mitigated somewhat by making sure that you apply the mist in not too fine of a manner, and also make sure there's absolutely no wind on that day. And that's how we would want to apply it. The other concern I have is that the area is currently outside the stone wall, is currently being maintained and mowed by the town. And when poison ivy is cut, the stems are capable of forming roots and sending out new shoots when in contact with soil. Obviously, it's normally most likely spread through seeds, dispersed by birds or animals, but it also is being mowed and probably dropped in little chunks along that area, which is going to spread it. So it's another concern. So my request is, would you allow me to use, my husband and I to use some ortho brush begone to kill the poison ivy in that along a 20, it's probably a 40-foot chunk of wall that faces Route 1 in Groton. I'm done for now.
That's good.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of problem with that, as long as you don't get overzealous spraying it. I've taken out quite a bit of poison ivy myself and left all the native vegetation behind.
Is it fairly, Cindy, is it fairly mature poison ivy, or does it have a heavy stalk coming from the ground?
It's mature, but the stalk in the area that I'm speaking of is not particularly thick.
Yeah,
There
Okay.
are a number of trees
Yeah.
in the area which are covered with poison ivy, and also if you go all the way around the corner near the entrance to the Avery Memorial and where the stone wall ends, it's quite heavy over there. But that's actually very close to the Little Creek. The area that I'm speaking of is as far away from the Little Creek as one could be.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't want to mess around over there. There's a lot of very mature poison ivy that's obviously been there for a while. This stuff, it looks reasonably small.
Yeah.
And although years ago, when, like I said, when we had our other home, it took my husband about 3 years. We are hoping that it wouldn't be that situation. The other thing is, once it dries, once the application, the brush begone dries, it's you can walk by it. You can walk in that area. Once it's dried, it's no longer going to, you're not able to get it on you, so to speak, or including animals. So that's really nice, because you put it on in a thin coat and it's going to dry very quickly.
Yeah. I was just asking because sometimes if you have a heavy stalk, you can cut it in a few places and just paint it on.
Yes.
You know, and that'll often take care of it, but it sounds like this is not quite so mature.
Yeah, there's a number of, like, it starts here and then you see it over there. First I thought it was very limited, and then I started looking and I saw more and more leaves. But once again, I know how important the wetlands area is, and we don't want to mess with anything other than the area just right along the stone wall. Anyways, that's what we would like to do. And then once again, do you recall, if I'm assuming that the wetlands do not continue beyond the stone wall heading towards the sidewalk?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think as you go around the corner on Park Road, it is on the outside of the stone wall. But I think in the area you're talking about, the wetlands are not on that side of the wall.
Right. So the second part of my ask is to try to, my husband tried to stick a shovel in that area and it was not successful. So I don't know if there's something else we might be able to use, once again, on the, not inside the wall, outside the wall. Anyways, I guess we should talk about the poison ivy first, and then I'll ask the other part.
Well, in the areas closer to the entrance to the memorial, where there's mature poison ivy vines, that would be an area that would be well suited to cutting it and then painting the ends of the stalks with the brush killer. And that way you don't have to spray it. It's simply painted on to the ends.
Right. And I will, if I have permission, I can ask my husband if he would be, how much he would want to do. He's definitely wants to do the area that we've spoken of. And he said he's not as afraid of getting it as I am. I certainly am not cutting it, and he might be willing to cut it and paint it. And I do believe that that is what you would need to do on the trees. Although I believe I read that if the tree is mature, you can actually spray the leaves. But then once again, that's a different situation. I probably don't want to go there. If we talked about just on the wall, I think we'd like to stick for now just to that area, and then we'll take it from there. At your obviously come and speak with you first. If we have success with this, and it looks like maybe we could continue, and you want us to continue, then that would be great. But right now, we're just looking at the one area.
On binless, whoop, go ahead, Eunice.
I'm just wondering if Annie has any input on this, any experience.
binless.
No, I'm usually a ripper outer. I have it to prove.
Yeah, scars to prove it. Yeah. Well, they also say you can cut it, poison it, and then go back and pull it out in a year. But that's we're really trying to get a couple projects done without waiting a year. But once again, who knows? It may be a year, but I would like to at least try to get started. And I'd like to, since these are not the huge vines, there's a lot of them. I think we'd like to try this approach first, very cautiously.
On Binless, at Binless Road in Mystic, there was an Avalonia property when I was on Avalonia's board, and there were poison ivy vines that were up to 1 inch in diameter going up the trees. And I cut those with loppers, so I didn't have to get too close, because I do get it, but not bad. And then I painted the ends of the stalks, and it did kill it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the upper piece, I'm sorry, do you have to pull out the upper piece or you paint both pieces?
I did not pull it out because I didn't want to get it, but I left it there. And of course, typical of vines, after it dies, it gets brittle and falls out. Some of the vines, poison ivy has little, for want of a better word, little tendrils that hold it onto the bark. And those are quite tenacious, but the branches that come out from that fell off within a year.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I've heard it also had success with that.
this was, I mean, it was so big, it was reaching out 10 or 15 feet into the road overhead.
Wow.
So it was quite an active infestation. I don't know what it looks like now, because that was some years ago, but it did work then. And I just used a small paintbrush, which I attached with tape to a piece of wood, so I didn't have to get too close to it.
Okay.
And I had a paintbrush that was, 2 or 3 feet long, and then I just reached in and painted the ends.
Okay. I don't think these are those kind of thick vines, although once again, I didn't, notice that at all in the spring. It was just when we went back to look more recently that we noticed there was a lot of poison ivy. So I guess it goes totally dormant. Yeah, so it wasn't a big, thick, it's really just kind of almost shrubby growing along the base of the stone wall.
Yeah, I mean, the front by Route 1, I don't have a problem with light spraying to get rid of that. As you get closer to the wetlands, it gets a little more problematic, which is where I'd recommend, painting it. The place on Binless has wetlands that's right adjacent to it, an old mill site there.
Okay.
So am I hearing consensus that that's an okay thing to spray this particular area along one?
Up by Route 1.
I'm fine with that.
Judiciously.
Viciously, okay.
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 All right. All right.
Next request.
Next request is, so in the same area on either side of this little steps is, there's nothing there. There, like I said, there's a beautiful maple tree on either side, about 10 feet away. But so there's just, scrappy little pieces of, poison ivy, and also just little pieces of grass and such. But obviously it has not been, nothing's been planted there other than whoever did a lovely job of planting the blueberry shrubs. I don't know I need something. I want to disturb that area once again, on the outside of the wall. But I don't know if I can use anything other than a manual shovel. So I'm not even sure exactly what I could use. I don't have anything in my home. I was going to consult with either Mark Berry from Parks and Rec or Greg from Public Works to see if they had an idea of something that could help me dig an area where we could plant some azaleas against that wall.
So you're thinking of some kind of more of a mechanical equipment, along the lines of a rototiller or something larger like that.
Yes, but it's at the bottom, there's that slope there from the road is flat and then it slopes down to the wall. So I'm not sure, but I figured I should ask you guys before I ask them to see it, because they might have an idea of some type of contraption that I'm not even aware of.
So some sort of mechanical method to get these things planted, these azaleas planted.
Yes, and
I'm
I'm
sure you
thinking,
can get a mechanical device in there.
well, like, is there such thing as wasn't there some kind of electric shovel or something odd like that?
There's a drill that you can attach. It drills post holes. You could just use that.
Huh, I've seen that, but it's as big as post holes? I thought it was more of a little kind of an okay, wow.
And it's like,
It's an
yeah,
auger.
it's big. And then if you just did that, and loosened it up.
Okay. Yeah,
And
really
also, if you add enough mulch, I think you could just plant hostas right on top.
right. The hostas, I was talking, the hostas weren't going to be as much of a problem, but when I walked over there with another committee member, she thought, wouldn't it be so much nicer to plant something that people could really see from the street, since we're talking about beautification, and also something, I was reading up about azaleas. There aren't that many specific azaleas native to Connecticut, but they're native to the Northeast. So but I did find a number that were actually native to Connecticut, but I'm not sure how easily you can obtain them. So
I think they might have some at Stonington Gardens.
yeah, that's
I
my
did see
place.
some recently. I think it was there.
Okay, I love Stonington Gardens. Anyway, so I just wanted to ask you before I asked any staff from the town, because once again, I'm not sure, or maybe their ability to dig is better than my ability to dig. But for me, it was just impossible.
Cindy, why don't you contact Mark Berry and see what type of equipment he has?
Mm-hmm.
And see what's the smallest type of equipment that he has that he could use to do this. And then just either of you can just let me know and I'll run it by the agency at their next meeting.
Okay. And I don't think it needs to be any more than 20 inches from the deep from the wall. My husband did make the point of we're not sure how that wall is affixed. So it might, I don't know. It looks like it's been there a long time. So I don't know what kind of footings there might be. All right. Okay. I will do that. I will contact Mark. Everybody has so much to do in the summertime, so I will get back to you if that is all right, about if he has some type of suggestion for how to dig that area.
Yeah, you could deal with the poison ivy first.
Yes, exactly. We need to
of
get rid of the
course,
poison ivy in order to dig in the spot.
The alternative way to dig is a lot harder on the back, and that's with a mattock.
What's a mattock?
Looks like a pick with a flat blade on the end.
Oh, okay, mattock.
And, you know, that's what I use. I just used it the other day, taking out a bunch of ferns, and they have tight roots.
Uh-huh.
I had to take them out, and it's back-breaking labor, I'll tell you that, but
Uh-huh.
you can dig with it easily.
Okay. All right. We probably have one of those. We've got every kind of tool that man has
It's a pick-
invented.
It's a pick on one end and a
Yep.
flat blade on the other side.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Well, I've taken up a lot of your time. So I will work on the poison ivy, and thank you very much for listening and giving me the okay. We will be very, very cautious, I promise. And then I will get back in touch when we try to figure out how to dig some type of trench for plants.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. So that means I'm excused.
Yes, you are. Thank you,
All right.
Cindy.
Thank you so much, all of you, for working so hard. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I don't have anything. Deb, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. So yesterday, we received an email from the town manager's office. In-person meetings starting in July. The state is requiring a hybrid component of that to allow folks to attend. And I'll be honest, we don't have that worked out yet. So the town manager wants us to meet in person. The state is still allowing Zoom meetings if need be. So as we get closer to the July meeting, I'll let you know what's going on. Are you all comfortable meeting in person? Because the state also is saying that you can be allowed to meet virtually if you would like to individually do that. Okay. So right now they're retrofitting room 2, our normal meeting room. It's all torn up right now. We're going to get a huge screen in there to be able to have a hybrid meeting. There's going to be new microphones. They're going to be installing a camera in the ceiling to view plans that are laid out in front of you and then project that onto the screen. So on top of getting all that stuff in there, we need to get trained on how to use all of this. So at any rate, as we get closer, we'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see if they get it by the 14th. If not, go to the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to, but
Okay.
yeah, but we'll get it figured out.
I'm
That's
ready
all
for
I have.
in-person meetings.
Yeah.
Me. So I just have one thing before we adjourn. And that's, I'm just wondering if staff could go out to the Noank Ledger Road house, the sewer septic situation. And so that's where a lot of my comments were coming from with the Warner property. I don't see a silk fence along the entirety of that wetland border, upland border. And I see really huge, large trees piled what looks to me to be, obviously this is just a drive-by and walk through there, but what looks to me to be very close to the wetland. So I just
All
would
right,
like
yeah,
staff to go out and check that out and just just let those guys know that we're watching. They're too close to the road. We go by there all the time.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Yeah, we'll absolutely get out there. I know they let us know when they were getting ready to start, but yeah. Yep.
Thanks.
All right, any other comments? All right, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed, abstentions. All right, have a great day. Good evening, enjoy this beautiful weather.
And maybe we'll see you in person next time. We'll see.
That would be
Yeah.
nice.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Aye.
Night.
Night.